President Trump is expected to tout the economy tonight, as well as make a plea for unity amid the deep divisions between Republicans and Democrats over border security, among other things. Joining us now to talk about what we can expect is former speechwriter for President George H.W. Bush and Atlas Society CEO Jennifer Grossman. Joining us at the National Taxpayers Union, Maddie Doppler is here, senior fellow there. Good to see you both, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
Jennifer, you were a speechwriter for President H.W. Bush. Tell us first what goes into writing a speech like this. What do you think the president will be talking about tonight?
Well, the first thing that happens is about at least 5 weeks out, sometimes as long as 2 months out. The speechwriter and the team sits down with the president, gets his vision, writes an outline, and then goes and writes to it. It's often considered a very plum assignment, but it's really not the most fun speech to write because it ends up being written by committee. I always say that it's a speech where style and thematic integrity is sacrificed on the altar of the staffing process. That's when it goes out to all of the agencies and you just have an accumulated sea of editorial ink. So it's an honor to be a part of it, but it's really not a fun speech for speechwriters.
Yeah, I guess, Maddie, you want to put your best foot forward and talk about the positives out there, like the economy for President Trump, but you can't ignore some of the elephants in the room, like the government was shut down for 35 days.
Jennifer has detailed a very long process, but we know there's been a tectonic shift in the last month for this president. The 35-day shutdown really has set the stage for a State of the Union that's going to be different from any other. But those themes of unity and greatness, I mean, Americans never feel more unified than when their own personal circumstances are feeling good. So I would like to see the president really emphasize how well the economy is doing. Talk about the tax cut. We've had a lot of politicians kind of shy away from this. I think they should be embracing some of these economic agenda items that have really put American footing on the map in a different way for the first time in a decade. American workers would like to hear that reassurance, I think, from the president tonight.
Jennifer, the question, just as a speechwriter, when you have the theme that the White House and the president wants called unity, right after a government shutdown, right after whether, either side wants to admit it or not, pretty much a blue wave during the midterms, and now what would be deemed by the Democrats certainly a shift to the left. It seems more of a word than the ability to really transcend that based on what's happened the last 35 days. How would you take that as a speechwriter? What would be some of the themes that you would think about to tout?
Well, I think at the end of the day, the words are actually less important than the delivery. If you think back to last year's State of the Union, I think we can all remember it well, but we probably don't remember a single line. What we do remember is the delivery. We remember the dynamics in the room. One of the best moments for the president of last year's speech was when he was just factually talking about historically low unemployment numbers among African Americans, and the Black Caucus just sat on their hands. It made them look terrible, and it made him look very magnanimous by contrast.